Hello and welcome to the Battle of the Ballots. The polls are done, the predictions are over. It's now time for a tryst with destiny, if I may, because results for all 5 assembly elections, including the key battleground for Uttar Pradesh, will be out tomorrow. The poll pundits have predicted a sweeping victory for the Modi wave. There are some contrary views out there as well. The Prime Minister's campaign blitz in Uttar Pradesh may pay dividends as per the exit poll numbers, with the BJP emerging as the single largest party. Not just in UP, his magic seems to be working in Uttarakhand, Goa and Manipur as well. And Uttarakhand, of course. The poll numbers in Punjab, however, show a very different picture. The BJP was a junior ally. The Shiromani Akali Dal paid for its anti-incumbency. The Congress and the AAP could be requiring equal muscle to form the next government. But let's take it straight across to a battery of political views and political experts who are joining us on the show this evening. We've got Ms. Juhie Singh from the Samajwadi Party. We've got Sanjay from the Congress, GVL Narasimha from the BJP, and within minutes from now, we will indeed have Pawan Varma of the JDU also join us. But let's begin with someone who's really got her skin in the game, Ms. Juhie Singh, who joins us all the way from Lucknow, represents the Samajwadi Party on the show for us. Mrs. Singh, am I wrong to say that the SP has conceded defeat and conceded it a little too soon?
We haven't conceded defeat at all. Most of the polls which have come out are exit polls. And their numbers, UP is a very complicated state. So really come to a conclusion as to what party is getting a majority would be difficult. I'm not arguing with anybody's numbers. There is one poll which is a post poll, that is the ABP poll. Now that really points the picture that the BJP is fighting hard and we are also neck to neck, which is what my observation always was, that it was a tough election and everybody is really is going to be a close fight, a close win. So it's very difficult to predict at the moment. I'm sure all the exit polls must have factored in the various issues. But in UP, every, let's say, constituency has its own issues, own problems, its own regional diversities. So I would say that we are taking it with a pinch of salt and waiting for the real results to come in tomorrow and hopefully forming the government with our, the Congress we formed the alliance with. That's what the Samajwadi Party is looking forward to.
Can I ask you a frank question this evening? And that frank question has to do with the statement that your chief minister made shortly after these exit polls started coming, Mrs. Singh. You say you're confident of forming government. If you fall short of numbers, is the Samajwadi Party going to do anything to keep the BJP out? And that entails joining hands with the Bahujan Samaj Party. And isn't that height of political opportunism as well?
The Chief Minister said that we would not like UP to go under President's rule. That's a rule, you know, he didn't want anybody from Delhi ruling it in that manner. And for that, if we have to look for an alliance, he has to look for an alliance. He is the national president. The Samajwadi Party is behind him. So that's an answer to the question which he gave, that President's rule is not acceptable to any of the parties who have fought the elections here. I'm sure it will not be acceptable to the BJP also if they fall short of the majority they're thinking of. So it's just a statement to be taken in that pretext.
Sanjay Jha, you represent the Congress party. You fought an election with the SP, decided to be the junior partner in that alliance. Actually, UP saw an alliance after nearly 24 years. The last alliance that UP saw was in 1993, and a lot of people don't pay too much attention to that. But I'm going to ask you the fair question. Is joining hands with the BSP a political suicide as far as the Congress is concerned? The SP may still be a party relevant at the grassroots, but the Congress and the BSP, but the SP and the BSP coming together squeezes out the political space that the Congress party at all has in Uttar Pradesh.
I think we will get to know the final results in not too long from now. But, you know, the truth is that the Bharatiya Janata Party, with its extremely communal politics in Uttar Pradesh, really vitiated the entire political environment. And, you know, while it's very easy to be critical of each other because we are political adversaries, at least to the credit of the BSP, it doesn't play the kind of sectarian and divisive politics that the BJP does. But, you know, we are not talking of what's going to happen. I think, you know, end of day, I'll agree with what Juhie Singh has already said, that this alliance between the Samajwadi Party and the Congress is really an alliance for the stability, the future and the prosperity of Uttar Pradesh. The election is behind us, so I'm not here to make any rhetorical speech. But the truth is that, if you look at the ground realities, there is every reason for us to be optimistic. I know some exit polls have given very outrageous and exaggerated claims in favor of the BJP. But I think, to be honest with you, they are fairly outlandish. End of day, it is going to be a tough fight. We always knew that would happen. But I think it's clearly going to be a Samajwadi Party Congress that will be the single largest party, and I do hope will be across the halfway hump.
GV and Narasimha Rao, barring two polls, I think almost all polls predict a hung assembly across 3 states, and Uttar Pradesh being one of them. If the BJP falls short of numbers, is joining hands with Mayawati an option for the Bharatiya Janata Party in Uttar Pradesh?
There is no question of joining anybody, and we are confident of getting a 2/3 majority. So this is a completely irrelevant discussion. So we don't think such a situation is going to emerge. So it's a matter of a few hours. We are expecting a big victory in Uttar Pradesh and Uttarakhand, and even in Goa, where polls are predicting a touch and go. I think we certainly are confident of getting a clear majority, because if you look at the manner people have voted in the recent past, you will see that people mostly vote for decisive majorities. I think uncertain verdict is something that you have not seen for a long time. I'm getting a strong echo, and I would like that to be fixed.
Right, we're just going to fix that. Please fix Mr. GVL Narasimha Rao's echo, Mr. Director. And I do want to move forward and do want to ask, Mrs. Juhie is saying, just before the elections happen, I think UP did see a family feud of sorts within the Samajwadi Party. The fact that Mulayam Singh Yadav did not campaign for the party at all across the state of Uttar Pradesh, where he is this reverend Netaji, hasn't lost that clout. Do you believe that could have hurt the Samajwadis? I mean, Dimple Yadav is charismatic, perhaps as Akhilesh Yadav's wife, but she is no Netaji.
The funny thing is that I was on an exit poll which gave a huge majority to the BJP, and they were saying that all the Yadavs voted. I mean, I don't know how they knew for Samajwadi, and all 80% of the Muslims voted for Samajwadi. So I don't know where our core base of the vote, which people say Samajwadi has, stays intact. But leaving aside rest, on the 1st of January, we had a new national president because we wanted to fight the elections on his agenda under his leadership, and the party was very clear about that. And we had the blessings of Netaji. Whether he campaigned or not was really irrelevant, because the chief minister campaigned extensively in every Vidhan Sabha, and there were every party leader and the candidates were there. And of course, Dimple Yadav has emerged as a new star campaigner. So we are happy with our campaign, and we are looking forward to the results also.
Sanjay Jha, a lot of people will actually turn around and say that the Congress as an ally is a very dangerous ally to have, because you seem to have become this albatross around your allies' necks. I remember there was an SP spokesperson who was speaking to media, and he said perhaps it was due to the Congress that we have sunk. We, of course, don't have the final tally, and I'm saying that's with every caveat here on ET now, that these are exit polls that we're going by. They're perhaps indicative in nature. This is not the final word. But Sanjay Jha, I want to ask you, has Congress become an expensive and perhaps a futile ally to have? Is it an ally that's perhaps pulling its own senior partners down? At least that's the word on the street in Uttar Pradesh.
No, I don't think so at all. I mean, you look at what happened in Bihar. I mean, we just fought 40 seats, we won 28 of them. And in the majority of the 28 of them, we defeated BJP in a bipolar contest, the much favored BJP for that matter. The truth is that when you have a political alliance like the one there is between Samajwadi Party and the Congress in Uttar Pradesh, both the parties have got a very strong constituency of their own. There is no denying that our vote share is considerably lesser, but it is also a very reliable and a very solid vote share. So I think both the parties are going to benefit each other. Rest assured, I can tell you this, that I think this alliance is frankly a pragmatic, mature alliance that will make all the difference to Uttar Pradesh's future, because you have two young leaders. Both of them are truly oriented towards inclusive growth. Both of them have a very secular outlook. They are both young. They can actually take risks and kind of devise an appropriate developmental or a growth model for UP. So end of day, I think both of them are going to be gainers net. And end of day, you win some, you lose some. So it doesn't matter whether you're going to be scaling what your expectations were. But looking at the dynamics of Uttar Pradesh, I can tell you this with some degree of confidence, that the Bharatiya Janata Party will probably be sleeping tonight with greater perspiration, because they will now, on the basis of some highly hyped up exit polls, will have a lot to worry about, because the ground realities, I can promise you, are very, very different.
All right, so we'll know about those ground realities in a matter of a few hours when ballot counting does begin at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. But it's indeed good to have Mr. Pawan Varma join us right here on ET Now as well. And Mr. Varma, I just discussed and debated with Mrs. Juhie Singh from the Samajwadi Party and Sanjay from the Congress the possible coming together of BSP if the alliance does fall short of numbers. The Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh hasn't minced any words in saying so. You come from Bihar, and we saw a Mahagathbandhan kind of an experiment fructify and defeat Modi and Amit Shah in that state. What is your reading of Uttar Pradesh? Do you believe if at all there was an alliance for Modi, it should have been pre-poll and not post-poll, because that's political opportunism? And the counter question to also that is, has Modi become this big phenomena that's single-handedly and alone changing the political landscape of state after state? I mean, who thought Nitish and Lalu, and here Mayawati and Mulayam, or Akhilesh for that matter, could come together?
Well, the fact of the matter is that in UP, it was not a Mahagathbandhan of the variety of Bihar, because there two parties who were opposed to each other and were major parties in Bihar came together along with the Congress to more or less completely unify the opposition in opposition to the BJP. I think Mr. Nitish Kumar has already said very recently that the need of the hour is opposition unity. And that unity cannot be expedient. It needs to be planned, credible, sustainable, with a mandate which appeals to people from the point of view of governance. Now, there is an existential futility, if not irrelevance, to discuss what will happen tomorrow, because in the next 16 hours or thereabouts, we'll know exactly what has happened. But I think there are lessons to be learned for all sides of the political spectrum from whatever the results may come up tomorrow.
Lessons to be learned. Would you expound upon the lessons that should be learned, both for the Samajwadi Party, the Congress in Uttar Pradesh, or for that matter, the BJP? Mr. Varma?
No, I think the lesson for the BJP, the lesson for the BJP is that depending on what the elections throw up, can they sustain the incumbency momentum of a party which has been actually reduced not to Aam Aadmi but One Aadmi Party, which is Narendra Modi, and carry that burden consistently, even if there is a perceptible gulf between promise and delivery and between promise and performance. Now, this is the challenge for the BJP. We saw it being rebuffed in states, and we saw it winning by default in other states. I can name them. Maharashtra, they won by default because the Congress and the NCP, in our view, did not probably put an act together. We saw them win in Assam because the opposition did not put its act together. Now, that is a challenge for the BJP, and equally it's a challenge for the opposition that more than halfway through the term of the current government, if we are moving towards 2019, either the opposition comes together, eschewing egos, and builds a credible framework that actually assures people of the possibility of governance overarching narrow differences, or we allow the BJP narrative to prevail. I mean, what is the option?
I want GVL Narasimha Rao to come in on that. Yes, GVL, I'm coming to you, but I'm also putting in a question there. Can you sustain the Modi mania, the
No, no, a
Modi
lot has
magic?
been
I mean,
said.
some of
Let
us
me
who
first,
travel
no,
to
can
Uttar Pradesh
I,
did see that magic. People didn't know of the Bharatiya Janata Party. Go ahead.
now look at the political insecurity of the parties. JDU, which broke away from an alliance because we had Mr. Modi made prime ministerial candidate, they were routed in Lok Sabha polls. It was that insecurity that made them really to warm up to Lalu Prasad Yadav, somebody whom Nitish Kumar always claimed to be someone who represented everything wrong about governance. Look at the bankruptcy in Uttar Pradesh now. Two parties, Rahul Gandhi went and said UP Behal, and Akhilesh not having governed well at all. He had a complete yatra of Uttar Pradesh. Then subsequently he was forced to eat a humble pie. Then he became a junior partner of SP. And today Akhilesh has already succumbed, has already surrendered, already conceded defeat. Now he is talking about warming up to the BSP. Look at this, is the insecurity of the entire opposition spectrum. And we are able to win even when several parties are coming together. This is actually positive vote for Prime Minister Mr. Narendra Modi and his pro-poor governance, and parties which have really nothing much to show by way of governance, which have taken a completely negative attitude, which have opposed the Prime Minister and his positive and reformist agenda. They are the people who are actually feeling left out. How many more they can get together, all the parties, they will still lose, because negative politics never win. It is the positive politics of the Prime Minister which is giving a big mandate to the BJP.
Right. All right, just hold your thoughts there, because I'm not so sure if routing of the opposition altogether is a great thing for Indian democracy. Sanjay Jha and Mrs. I understand that, but Sanjay Jha, I'm going to come to you on what that election was fought on, GVL, and I have questions on that. But Sanjay Jha, you want to come in and counter some of the arguments that GVL has made?
Yeah, I just believe that the Bharatiya Janata Party has no legitimacy to talk about constructive politics. I have been following a lot of ground reports from Uttar Pradesh, and, it's very disconcerting, because I can understand that some of the lunatic fringe elements of the past were communal in their outbursts. But when you have the Prime Minister of India, who takes an oath on the Constitution which has secularism embedded in it, talk about Kabristan, Shamshan, Ramzan and Holi and Diwali, and talk about electricity supply being distorted. These were all terrible post-truth disasters by Mr. Modi. Clearly, he succeeds in very often misleading the people. But the bottom line is that, to govern, you need a very strong secular polity. And I think that is always a problem for the Bharatiya Janata Party. End of day, where Uttar Pradesh is concerned, I can understand these are high political stakes for all parties concerned. But you cannot allow, the competitive, phenomenon to destroy a socially stable fabric that the country, I think, needs as a very essential precondition to any development and growth that we want. So bottom line, I am convinced that the people of India are watching the politicians very closely. People, use rhetoric and all kinds of exaggerated claims during elections and very often get away with it. But my firm conviction is the people of Uttar Pradesh do want to see a very positive governance model. I agree with what Pawan said, that end of day, this is a coming together of Samajwadi Party and Congress, but both these parties actually represent a fairly large demographic of Uttar Pradesh that basically encompasses one and all. And therefore, I'm very confident that end of day, when the results come out tomorrow, I think the people of Uttar Pradesh will have voted for a Uttar Pradesh of the future, not one which is going to be managed by a party that wants to use divide and rule as part of its political strategy.
Before I throw this to Juhie Singh and Pawan Varma, GVL, I have a question to ask you. Well, many believe that Uttar Pradesh has voted for development, and your own narrative seems to suggest so. What about the kind of polarization that we did see in elections? Why were references made to Kasab? Why were we talking about Kabristan and Shamshan? Why were we not talking about jobs? Why were we not talking about growth? Why were we not talking about issues like that in Uttar Pradesh? Why were we talking about infrastructure in Uttar Pradesh? Why did we go down the way of Kasab and Kabristan in UP?
We talked about all the issues. I don't know, maybe you didn't pick up, you look at our leadership spoke for hundreds of hours, and the whole thing was about lawlessness. The issue was about gundagardi, lack of women's safety, lack of any development in the state of Uttar Pradesh, how it has become how it still remains a Bimaru state, while all other states which were in that category decades ago have progressed. States like Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, and all other states have moved forward, but Uttar Pradesh continues to be at the lowest level of the charts, all development charts. So this was our primary narrative.
Why did you mention Kasab and Kabristan, GVL?
But any kind of discrimination, we don't take permission from ET now or anybody. We raise issues which we think are important, which are hurting the people of the state, and people are the ultimate arbiters. Unless you have decided that all people of Uttar Pradesh are communal and they only vote for speeches of that kind. These are not communal speeches. You are wearing. The media has a communal glasses on their eyes. I think you need to take them off to understand it.
I have communal glasses.
In development is a development issue. Discrimination in development is a development issue.
Supriya,
unfortunately, you are all perverse.
Let me counter this.
Okay,
perverse.
hang on there.
It's
Pawan
perverse
Varma, please
media.
come in.
It's perverse
Please
political parties.
So, Supriya,
all right,
let me
perverse
counter this.
Perverse media is not going to talk, but I'll let your political commentators
Let
comment.
me counter this.
Go ahead there, Mr. Varma.
First of all, I strongly disagree with the use of terminologies like perverse, etc. to describe the media. Secondly, I think it does not anymore need reiteration. The BJP's calculated Sam, Dam, Dand, Bhed, Brahm Shastra in all elections is the polarization of votes on the ground of religion. We saw it openly in Bihar. I can speak from personal experience. And the same has been tried in every poll
Bihar.
that has been attempted since the BJP came to power now. And therefore, sir, I did not interrupt you. I did not interrupt you. At least have the patience not to be so impatiently perverse. The point of the matter is, and the real challenge before the people of India is, for how long will the people of India be taken for a ride by a party which seeks to rule by dividing them? This is the challenge of the future. Can the opposition articulate its point of view in support and of the opposition to such a policy that the BJP follows? That is the challenge before the opposition. And I think we need to present our counter narrative.
Hold your thoughts there, GVL.
We need to set the agenda rather than respond to Kasab and Shamristan.
You're actually giving me a cue.
Kasab and Kabristan and Shamshan.
But Mr. Varma, you're actually giving me a cue. I understand that, but you're giving me a cue, and Sanjay Jha, I'm going to come to you. Why is the opposition failing to produce a counter narrative? I mean, I'm going to ask you two simple questions. The Congress party could not capitalize on the anti-incumbency in a state like Goa if exit polls are to go by. And the Congress party is being stumped by a relative debutante AAP in Punjab. I mean, what has happened to the Congress party? And if at all you go on to win Punjab, it is not due to Rahul Gandhi. It will perhaps be to the credit of Amarinder Singh. Where is the counter narrative from one of India's oldest parties, the Congress, which calls itself the main opposition?
Now, Supriya, I'll keep my answer very brief here. We are very confident of an emphatic victory in Punjab. Let's see what Goa throws up. But I'll agree with you that Goa, at least the exit polls are not putting us as the #1 party. My party, though, in Goa seems to be much more exuberant about the final outcome. I will agree with Pawan, and I'll agree with you as well, that the Bharatiya Janata Party poses a very different, formidable threat to the Indian constitution itself in a great number of ways. And I think the point that Pawan is making is something that I have always sincerely believed in, especially since 2014, when I see a lot of institutions of our country being gradually dismantled, that the Congress party will have, to kind of galvanize not just itself, but all the other opposition parties together on a more solid common plank to actually stop the BJP juggernaut, which seems to be, kind of riding roughshod, using all kinds of tricks and gimmicks, but then they have succeeded. I'm not even going to deny that. But I do believe that ultimately the idea of India is under some serious threat. There are a lot of tensions on the ground level, and this is not just being felt by the minority community, but including the Dalits and the young students of India who are being told you can say this and you can't say this, etc. So I believe we are up for a monumental challenge.
Right.
And I'll agree with you that the Congress party has to take the lead and get all the other opposition together to stop the BJP from riding roughshod over what is our very valued democracy. I agree with you on that.
All right, right. Just hold your thoughts there, because Juhie is saying, I want to take a quick forward-looking question. I'm running out of time here. If 2019 is Modi's election to lose, which it looks like it is, and there is a wave of sorts for Modi, not just in civic elections, but also in state assembly polls, is the opposition then open to being galvanized as a one-sum? Is the opposition, will we finally see the SP, the BSP give away the differences, come together, the Congress being an ally? Will we see something like that in the making for 2019, for that Modi juggernaut to stop, the one that Sanjay and Pawan Varma have referred to?
You've got your answers through everybody who is speaking here. Pawan Varma said that we have lessons to learn, and GVL conveniently lied. That's what the BJP does, lies blatantly, putting crime records of MP and Rajasthan, which is much higher in crime than UP, which is 22 and 28 in number according to NCRB, and calling UP a lawless state. So that's what we have to stop, and that's the lesson we have to learn. It's not a Modi wave, it's the wave of lies and misrepresentation from all panels which the BJP is doing, and is doing it constantly. So maybe yes, who knows, 2019, it is the identity of India, and frankly it's the democracy of India under danger, because if you're not getting answers from your central government and their representatives which have any truth in them, then there is certainly something very, very wrong, and we have to stop it.
GVL, I'm going to throw that question to you, because, I mean, you know, I'm not going to debate the idea of India and the identity of our constitution, but I'm going to ask you a more basic question. Going into 2019, you will have states like Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, you know, all of those states come up where there will be anti-incumbency. Most people believe Gujarat is going to battle with anti-incumbency also to a certain extent. Is that the biggest challenge for the BJP going forward, or do you believe Mr. Modi on his own, like he has displayed in these past few elections, can carry the juggernaut forward? Or do you believe that's a challenge the BJP will also look to focus on?
I will answer that later. First, I think it's a bad manners, and it's a hallmark of a bad loser to really insult the people of a state. I think this would be, if the kind of remarks that the panelists have made, the Congress or the SP have made, are insulting to the people of Uttar Pradesh, I think this election defeat is not going to be enough. If they continue with this, they will also face an onslaught in future. You tell people, you're telling the people of the country, people of Uttar Pradesh, they are not mature enough to really vote for the right party. They don't know what they are looking for. After you have failed them, you projected people like Govind or the Prajapati, the minister, racist minister. Now you claim you are representing development. Come on, I think people will give you one. If people have given you a big defeat,
yes,
you don't have to admit it today, but your leaders have admitted. But this arrogance will mean that you will not even emerge ever in future. This is complete arrogance. You have completely failed in Uttar Pradesh. You have cheated people who have given you a mandate, and if you start talking this language, people will slap you further in the next elections. This you should learn. This is the
we
first
will
lesson
talk.
that you should
You
learn.
don't tell us
People
what language you talk. You can tell the press and the media, but don't tell the political parties by lying and misrepresenting what language we are supposed to take. Come on, this is not your political platform, and you have still not won the election.
You are protecting a rapist minister.
Just hold your horses.
You are protecting a rapist minister. As a woman spokesperson, I think you should hang your head in shame.
You should
hang your head in shame.
And you are calling somebody who has certain
hang your head in
allegations.
shame.
Oh, come on. I am not hanging my head in shame.
A
You hang your head in shame on Solanki, on Nihal Chand, on whatever
you should
happened
hang your head in
MP.
shame.
Mr. GVL, just hold your horses on UP. That's what I am saying. And don't tell everybody what to speak.
No, don't really insult the people of the state.
Don't moderate the argument to your convenience. You have lied and you lie.
I think I will have to use my discretion as the anchor of this show. I think I will I think I will have to use my discretion as the anchor of the show. It's a heated debate. I wish we could have carried that forward, but completely out of time because IIP data is going to be out very soon. But just to remind our viewers, this is exit polls that we are debating. The numbers may look very similar tomorrow morning or it may look starkly different. But thank you very much, GVL Narasimha Rao, Sanjay, Pawan, Varma and Juhie Singh for this very, very spirited discussion on the state of politics in India, the 5 state assembly elections, why they matter, and why does UP matter so much above all. Thank you very much for tuning in.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/ETNow and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at ETNowLive. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/user/ETNow.